function now.
Yes.
Okay, so during this second hour, we'll work on introduction to logic. Introduction to logic. So you have the text I gave you. I use as a textbook for that part, the book of Sister Spengler, Mary Michael Spengler. But as I told you, it's not necessary to have it. What is interesting in that book, we have exercises at the end.
This?
Yes.
A book like this? All
It's the same thing.
Oh, okay, they are
The same.
on a
Yeah.
different version?
You can, maybe you can meet Claire Adamou in the library. Maybe she has some book to sell, maybe.
Oh, I will go to see.
Maybe she has some book to sell. Yes? Question? Oh, excuse me. Okay, so let's go to the subject. Introduction. So every human being naturally desires to know the answer to the problems which confront him. In fact, continually during the day, you are confronted to some new situation. You ask questions, you are searching for solution to understand even, etc. Man is an intelligent being endowed with a natural tendency to know the truth. We are a rational animal, as said very correctly Aristotle. We are thirsty for the truth. We have a need for the truth. A need. We have an appetite for the good. I will say we have also an appetite for the truth. Our intellect is open to the truth as our will is open to the good. It is inscribed in our nature, in our intellect. It is an essential characteristic of the human mind. We see that especially with the young people. And they have no hesitation to ask any kind of questions. That is, it expresses that intellect is more and more open to knowledge, to the truth, to know what is the reality. Because to know the truth is to know the reality, the rise, what is the world, the universe, the world, the meaning of things. In fact, we can say man is a curious animal. We are endowed with curiosity. And I say sometimes, be careful if you find a child who never asks a question. That child maybe is sick, he suffers from autism. Autism is the child, they don't communicate. So it is natural for a child. And also answer the question. Don't tell your nephews or nieces, don't bother me, uncle is tired, he studied too much philosophy, too much logic, don't bother, no, bother me, ask me question. Is the way they develop. And we see that the children who ask questions, and if their parents answer them with a good language, with the truth, those children develop very rapidly, incredible. If they are 6 years old, they speak almost like adults, because they are the right answer. Even if the child does not understand everything, give the right answer. He will acquire the habit of using good word, right word, concept, even if he does not understand everything. There is a tendency with some parents to have a baby language for toddler. No, you have to take them to your level and not go to their level. Education, it is ex ducere. It is to make the child pass from childhood to adulthood. That is education. So man observes nature, is amazed with every new phenomenon. It is beautiful to see how children, they are interested with everything. We must give them the opportunity to open their mind to many things. According to Aristotle, man can be defined rational animal. Thinking is highest operation and needs to follow a good path to attain its object, that is the truth. So we want to attain the truth, but we must have a good method. Method. Meta odos in Greek. Huh? Meta means with. Huh? And odos, way, path. Huh? Way. So, to have the right way to attain the truth. Huh? A method. Huh? A method. You can learn the piano with a method. You can also play the piano years and years without method. We don't progress. We progress when we use a method. It's the same for typewriting. Okay? Therefore, there is a need for a method. Human knowledge, knowing, cannot be achieved by only a casual procedure. To attain the truth, that requires effort, perseverance, perseverance, and also skill, to be prepared. You know, if you have a good formation, you can produce something much better and much rapidly than the one who not have a good formation. Suppose you learn a language, for example, Spanish or Vietnamese or French, another German. If you have a good method, you'll know systematically, you will be able to talk with precision. If you study only with children, maybe you will know the most important word, but you cannot express your thought. You know? So that is important to have a method. Huh? The method in spirituality. For example, those who begin to live in religious life, sometimes the master of novices, they give a method. The method of St. Ignatius of Loyola, the method of Saint Teresa. It's good to have a method. After that, when you are all religious, maybe you can say, I don't need a method now. I talk with Jesus without any method. But it's good to have a method. It's the same for teaching. It's the same for at the beginning, when you are a deacon, you write your homily. But after a certain time, you will have a very good homily. You have clearly what you have to say. You say that. And did you write 1, 2, 3, 4 words? You know, okay, like speakers. Politicians, some politicians, they don't write their speech, but they have their idea here. Or they put some idea and they want to develop that. Okay? Rather, this highest of human operation require effort. It's the same for study. To study, you have to make an effort. Okay? There are intellectual virtues which are the habits of good learning. And when we study that, there is the virtue of wisdom, intelligence, science. We can acquire a good habit to know, to judge, to reason, as we can acquire a good habit to practice charity, chastity, humility, etc. They are human virtue as they are supernatural virtue. So this procedure are found in logic textbook, and logic can be considered, in fact, as the grammar of the human way of thinking. For example, when you were 6 years old, your mother, your father sent you to the school, primary school, elementary school. And now, in the 2nd grade, in 3rd grade, you begin to know the law of English grammar. The syntax, the way to write in English. Because the way to write in English is not exactly the same way as in French or in Spanish. A classical example is the possessive case. My father's watch. My father's watch. So we have to know, you learn that a plural, when you have many cats, you write many cats. So you learned, but you did that before. In fact, you spoke English before knowing English grammar, no? And you discover at school the way you already used to speak, to talk. Is the same in logic. In logic, we don't discover something new, absolutely new for you. But we are studying the way you already think. I think it is one of the great discoveries of Aristotle to have discovered the laws of thinking. the laws of thinking. Ha! And that is the first, in fact, in the history to codify clearly the rule of thinking. It's a genius. It's a great genius. So there, we cannot say logic is absolutely something new. No. In fact, you already are a logical man. Otherwise, you will not be here. But now you know how, why you are a logical man. We study the grammar of thinking. Next paragraph, page 2. Next page, opening description of logic. So what is logic? Logic, according to scholastic philosopher, is an art. An art. You know, we saw in the first class that philosophy is theoretical, speculative, and practical. And when we say something practical, we distinguish, in fact, in the branch of practical, art and technology. What is the difference between art and technology? Both are to make, to produce, to do something. Here it is for beauty. Here it is for utility, you see. Useful. That is useful, that is beautiful. But we can also make something at the same time useful and beautiful. In fact, in our modern time, we try to make things practical, but at the same time beautiful. We see that in cooking. We go to, you want to, to buy some device to cook, and you should open. And it is a purpose also because we are attracted more by what is beautiful. You know? So, to think is an art. It is to be able to think with beauty, correctly. In fact, it is excessively important art. But it is the specificity of the human person is to think. So logic is very important. It's a very important art. Painting is important, sculpting, but using correctly my mind is excessively important. It is, sometimes they call that the art of arts. Because in every art we have to use logic, no? Okay. So the art of going from the known to the unknown. Now we start from what we know to what we don't know. What we know to what we don't know. That is the rule allowing us to arrive to a good conclusion. Okay? In fact, we never start from nothing. Only God starts from nothing. Creation is to start from nothing. Man, when he is doing something, when he is filming, talking, he starts always from something. There is no absolute creation by man. We use always something existing. Marble, or the idea, or we use the language received by our fathers. In fact, we use what we know to arrive to something which is new. But that is not absolutely new, because it is already prepared by, for example, people go on the moon. We go on the moon. Of course, it is new to go on the moon, but if you go on the moon, it is because of Newton. Newton discovered the law of gravity. So knowing the law of gravity, we can know now how to pass over the law of gravity to go to the moon, you know. So we take benefit all the time from what we know, and we try to create something new, to make a new organization. That is the way we act all the time. And that is the cause of progress also. We progress because of that. We cannot start from nothing. We start from, that is the reason why it is excessively important to have a rich experience. The richer is your experience, the greater is your capacity to go to something new. Is the reason why children who have a lot of experience, they visit the museum, and they go to many countries, they read many books. Those children are more prepared to progress than those who don't have that capacity. That is the way. We start from the known to the unknown. In fact, it is, we are in progress continually. But that progress is not totally pure. We start from the first principle. The foundation of our progress is the first principle. And we studied that when we studied, for example, the principle of causality. That is the first principle. Principle of there is being. The first principle, existence of being. We don't start from nothing. Okay? And also our daily experience. So we start from our experiences, but we are that progress is founded on principle. I will say the principle are like the rails for a train. They are, and if the principles are good, we can use the rail to progress. So what helps us to use the rail to progress correctly? It is logic when we think. So a second paragraph, page 2, the element and problem of solving. So for the solution of any problem, two basic elements are required. In fact, every day we have to solve problems. Every day we have to answer questions. Every day. You are preparing your coffee, but there is no sugar. There is a problem, no sugar. So you have to find a solution to find sugar, you know. You have a lot. You lace your shoes by, you have to, you know, we are facing little problem, but they are so numerous we don't realize we are facing them. And sometimes we have to, they are so big that we have to reflect on that. Most of the time we solve the problem very easily because they are not huge problems. Okay? So for the possession, first the possession of general principle here. And for example, if you want, we use those any principles for everything. For example, you want to write a paper, you want to write a note. And you know that if you want to write a note, you must find a pencil. No? Or you want to send a message, you must find a tool, either a paper, or your iPhone, or your telephone, or I don't know. You know, ask another tool. So we are confronted in the ordinary life for cooking, for washing. All the time we have to find some solution. Some solution to daily problem. You know, you want to you have a car. Of course, your car is thirsty, so you have to put gas. Where I will go? Where is the cheapest station where I can buy gas at the lowest price? Continually. Or you open the television. And you have to make a choice. You are confronted to 250 channels. So you have to, yeah, it's a problem. And some people, they are not able to find a solution. So during half an hour before finding their problem, they zap. Finally, they find what is interesting, you know. It is a problem to find the right channel, etc., etc. Okay.
So the theoretical, it's finding the solution, and the practical, it's that I found the solution.
In fact, when you find the solution, you use the theory.
Okay.
You use a universal concept all the time. But it is unconscious. It is, for example, the principle of causality. So you know, if there is a cause, if you produce something, there will be some effect. You take your shower, if you put too hot water, then you will be burned, you know. So, in fact, we use continually our logic. You know, here that function continually at the speed of light. It's a marvel. The human brain, the human thought is a marvel. You know, it is so true. Think about a little child. How it is difficult for him to do many things. And for you, it is so easy. Or you learn a language, it is easy to speak the language, but 2 years ago, 3 years ago, it was so difficult, you know. So, in fact, we cannot separate our material activity from our thinking. You know? You want to go out, it is raining, but you are searching for an umbrella or for a raincoat, you know. And you have to use your intellect. In fact, continually we use our intellect. You go to the refectory, you eat soup, then what do? You take a spoon. But that is here. You don't say, I want to eat soup, therefore I must take a spoon, put that in the soup, put that in my mouth. No. But you do that, you think like that. When you drive a car, your mind is functioning happily, because it's not functioning, it will be dangerous. You know, we don't realize that our brain is working continually.
And every cause there's an effect.
Exactly. And you know, many sensations, we see that in a few weeks, many sensations you have, you are not conscious of that, but they are affecting you. I give you an example. When I talk to you, there is a motor functioning behind you. You listen?
Yeah, I heard
Yes.
that.
Yes, but when you were listening to me, that noise was entering your ear. And it is in you. Well, of course, you were not conscious of that. Your mind was concentrated. But maybe someone in the class says, yeah, I'm tired to listen to that, you know, because it concentrates. So, you know, for me, it's like your mind, your brain is like your heart. As long as you are awakened, it functions. Even when you sleep, you have dream, no? So we come back on that. But the step now to know, first is to see, the second is to judge, and the third is to act. And here, if you are a former Catholic member of Catholic Action, you remember the 3 types of Catholic Action. To see, to see, to judge, and to act. To see, what is that? What is that? To know what is the thing, to observe. So that is the first. We call that simple apprehension. What? We will come back on that. Simple apprehension. To catch, to seize, to grab. What is a thing? To observe. To observe. Secondly, when I observe things, I can put them together or I can separate them. For example, I can put water with heat, hot water. I can put water with cold. The idea of water with the idea of cold. I can say water, this water is hot. Be careful. Or this water is cold. I cannot use it for my tea, for my coffee, you know. That is judgment. The judgment, it is to put together a subject and a predicate, or to separate them. That is the second operation of the mind, to judge. In fact, the most important operation of the mind is judging. And the third one, when we judge, we try to find a solution. We try to find a conclusion. And to find a conclusion, what we do, we put together many judgments. We put together, and putting them together, we arrive to a conclusion. And we do that many, many, many times. For example, when you were young, and you were sick, and your mother wrote a paper to the teacher. She said, my son is really sick. Please excuse him for his absence. Okay? So, to affirm that you are sick, your mother must check that. No? So she has a thermometer. You say, oh, my mother, I have fever. Okay, check. If you have 40, oh, yes, you are right. Oh, if you are 37.5, you know, I think you should go to school. So we have the way to control if the subject, the conclusion, is with the predicate. And that control is we call reasoning. We reason. So we have the three operations of the man. To see, to watch, to grasp, simple apprehension, to know what is that. Secondly, we can put many things together or separate. John is a Catholic. So John and Catholic, they go together. John is not a Protestant. John is a bad Protestant. You know, that is judgment. But to affirm John is a good golfer, for example, you have to go and to see him playing golf, you know. So you can say, after observation, after reasoning, you can say, John is a good golfer. It's the same for me as a teacher. I cannot say, I think I will give you B+. You, C-. You, A+.
Good.
Can I do that?
Yes.
No.
If I do that, I'm stupid. No, I have to have a criterion. I have to have a proof. And the proof is the examination, the game. You understand that? No? So that means you have here the three operations we studied during the semester. The first, what is that? The definition, the concept. Secondly, judgment. We put those concepts together. But to put two concepts together, we must have a proof for that, a demonstration, syllogism. Reasoning is the third operation. That is the program for the semester. And that corresponds to the three acts of the Catholic action. To see, to judge, and to go to a conclusion, to act. Yes,
the philosopher, I think they call the thesis, antithesis, and synthesis.
Yes, that is another Hegel.
Hegel.
Yes, it is. We have good. Yes, interesting. It's a reasoning. It's a reason. Dialectical reasoning.
Thesis, yes. Antithesis.
Okay, page 3. In fact, in the judgment, what we try to see, we try why Paul is a good golfer. So why the subject is united with the predicate. So I not insist on that because it is the object of our class for at least 1 or 2 weeks. But I want to say a word about the subject. You know, we use many terms and sometimes we don't understand exactly the meaning of them. Subject comes from subjectum, no? Marine, under. Jectum, to be thrown. To Yacere in Latin is to pit the ball, to throw the ball, to throw. So throw, under. And under subjectum, under subject, the subject of the Queen, the subject of the Queen of England. So for example, suppose the subject is Paul. Paul is an American. Paul is a Catholic. Paul is a seminarian. Paul is a golfer. Paul is fat. Paul is thin. etc., etc., etc. All that is on Paul. Paul is under that. He is Catholic, subjectum, subject, understand? It's important to understand. And object means up in front of me, obstacle, up in front of me, object. To be thrown in front of me. So the object, I am the subject, I see an apple. So the apple is not in me, is not on me, is in front of me. Object. You know, it's simple, but it's important. Subject, object. And when here, all those qualities put into the subject, we call that predicate or attribute.
Attributes.
Attribution. Predicate is Latin, predicare, to say, pray about someone. Or attribute, add, to give to someone, to the subject. In fact, if we have to write like Chinese, they write like that, we should put Catholic, American, all that is in John, is in Paul. You know? Paul is the subject, supporting the predicate. And the object is what is outside of me, so I can see it, because he is opposed to me, it's not me. Okay?
It's a grammar.
Yes, a grammar. Yes, sometimes you know, we learn words without understanding. The word attribute, why? Add, tribute, to give to the subject. Predicare, to say about the subject. You know, I try to make you understand the word you use. And when you understand that after, it's very easy. Very easy. Right? Otherwise, we learn, like primary school, many words we don't understand. Like in Latin, when you study Latin, at 11, 12 years old, we know a lot of words, but we don't understand. But we know by practice, like dative, genitive, you know, ablative. There's no meaning. But we know that
Nominative.
It is the am or a or is. But when we should understand, now we have the level of understanding. Okay? I think it is one of my, charism as a teacher, to make my students understand the word they use. Otherwise, they don't catch the essential, and they are losing the understanding of the thing. Okay? The word subject, okay, I explained that to you. So we can predicate, we can attribute, the same thing, predicate or attribute have the same meaning. To give to the subject, to the subject. Okay? Only after reasoning. We can say Paul is an American, he's a Catholic, only after some proof. So, to be an American, I can say, show me your passport or your ID card. As a Catholic, show me your baptistry, your paper for baptism. If you are a seminarian, where do you go? What seminarian? What is your seminary, etc. It's a golfer. Ah, you're a golfer? Okay, we go, play. I will see if you're a good golfer. Okay, so the conclusion, in fact, an affirmation, a judgment, is always the fruit of a conclusion, of a demonstration. Now, just after that, the link between the predicate and the subject is the reason why they can be united. There must be a reason why I can say that seminarian and Paul are together. I must have a reason for that, you know. I affirm that John is a good tennisman, if I see him winning. Bartholomew de las Casas was able to affirm that the engine he took with him to Spain, from America to Spain, were intelligent. You know, in 1550, there was a great discussion to know if the Spaniards were able to enslave the Indian of America, like they did with African. You know? So someone wanted to enslave them. And Bartholomew, which is a blessed, Bartholomew is beatified now, he took 14 or 15 Indians, he took them to Spain, to Valladolid. And there was a trial, the trial of Valladolid, to verify if the Indians from America were human beings. So imagine the poor Indians, they arrived in Spain, they were terrified. Terrified! And when they arrived in the room, there was a legate of the Pope, here, big man, you know, and the Dominican, and they want to scrutinize if they were human beings. And they did not understand Spanish, they understood nothing, They tried to make them laugh, and the problem is, the proof was, if, according to Aristotle, if they can laugh, they are intelligent. And they never laughed. Because they were terrified, petrified. So poor Bartholomew de las Casas, he was praying, he was, discouraged. And the legate stood up to make a speech, you know. He said, it's very sad, you know, those Indians, they cannot laugh, therefore, I'm not sure they are human beings. Huh? And he sat, but his secretary was too slow. He was not on time to put the chair under his precious bottom, and he fell down on the floor. What happened?
The Indians laughed.
The Indians laughed. And Bartholomew said, they are human beings. That is historic, huh? That is a historical fact. Historical fact. You know? So I can affirm that man is intelligent because I have a reason for that. The reason, he can laugh. And you are human being because you laugh. And I am being because I laugh. Okay? But be careful, someone, they laugh without knowing why they laugh. Special case. Okay, now I go to the next paragraph, the outline of logical thinking. So I already explained that. And the first is simple apprehension. Simple apprehension. The first operation, simple apprehension. I try to know what is that. I try to find the nature of a thing, the essence of a thing, the definition of a thing. Secondly, I combine or I divide. Is the second operation, is judging, judgment, judging, or judgment. And that is important because judging is linked with the truth or falsity. There is no falsity in apprehension, but there is falsity. And finally, to arrive, to put together, I have to reason, to use a syllogism. And that is the third operation, reasoning. Reasoning. And every operation, you have that, I think, I don't know, a square, and not a rectangle. Yes, but I want to know if there is a connected, you know, oral expression of the simple apprehension is the word, the term. Yes. Oral expression is a proposition. Yes. And reasoning is syllogism. Did I correct that?
Demonstration, yes.
No, we have to change that. Huh?
Oh.
Say, well, if demonstration is under oral expression,
yes,
put that under mental expression.
Oh, okay.
And syllogism, okay? And the mental is a concept, judgment, and reason. Finally, I have 5 minutes for the rest.
So it's word, judgment,
yes,
syllogism.
The judgment is mental.
Yes.
The proposition is oral. Huh?
Yeah.
In fact, you think before talking. Huh?
Yes.
So you have an internal operation and external operation. But we will come back on that. Huh? Logical is an art. So we already spoke about that. Huh? So you can read. I want to go to the word very important. We know, we arrive, we ask questions because we are astonished, because we are amazed. And I think it's important to speak. Astonishment is the beginning of questioning. Amazing, to be amazed, to wonder. Newton, for example, wonder why apple fall down and don't fall up. Mr. Papin, you know, Papin is the French scientist who discovered the power of steam. He was in the kitchen and suddenly the cover of the boiler, boom, boom. He discovered the power of steam. And that changed completely Europe and the history of the world. The Industrial Revolution. He saw, but many people saw that. Millions of women and men saw that before. But they wonder, why? And they search for an answer, you know. That, okay? So it's the same for love. We love only if we admire. A man marries a woman because he admires her. Or he admires his money. Or the woman marries a man because she admires her beautiful car. No, but in fact, love is the same for God. We cannot love God if we don't know Him. If we don't admire Him, you know. Love is linked with admiration. It's the same for truth. Okay? Okay, you can, and the next paragraph we speak about sensible. The word sense, I will come back on that. But read the text, it's very important. Sensible in philosophy has a special meaning. It does not mean a correct sense. It means known through the senses. And if you have the definition taken from Merriam-Webster, you have the number 1, the number 2a, the number 3a. 1, 2a, 3a are the meaning used in philosophy. So when sensible means to be known by the senses, and through my senses. Okay? And what is the criterion? It is the conformity to the reality. That is truth. We study that also. In fact, tonight is a kind of appetizer. And and the art of heart, I already spoke about that, the method of trial and error. The most important is to think. The characteristic of man is the thinking machine, thinking animal, rational animal. It's not difficult to read by yourself. I give, just at the bottom of page 6, St. Thomas defined the art perfecting the mind as the one by means of which a man may, in the act of reason itself, proceed in a way with 3 words. Orderly is orderly, easy, and without error. Those 3 words are excessively important because they are the characteristic of every habit. Every habit is when we do something orderly, correctly, easily, or rapidly, and without error. So, and logic is enough. We know, we try to think correctly, to use the good tools. And you have after that, page 7, as for grammar, logic states the rules of thinking. And we have to study the rules of thinking. First, of judgment, simple apprehension, definition. Secondly, how to judge correctly. And thirdly, how to reason correctly. And in fact, we say logic presents the form of thinking. Logic is not linked directly with truth. Logic is the form, you know. So you can make a wrong syllogism, but the form can be okay, correct. You know? With a gun, you can be a good shooter. You can kill a deer. You can kill also your enemy. You know. It is not, in fact, in logic, there is no truth in itself. Logic is a way to go to the truth. Because logic is not linked with the content, it's formal, pure form. But that form is very important, because if you use the right form, you can attain the truth.
There's no syllogism.
Yeah, suppose a syllogism can be right in itself, but the content can be false. And that is the art of sophistry. And unfortunately, I will not teach with you, but you can read the chapter on fallacies. Apparent reasoning, and the world is filled with fallacies. Apparently, it seems a good reasoning, but when we examine it attentively, it's not valid. But people swallow that. They swallow that, okay? In fact, to end learning by doing, so you will have some exercises, and I will give you the answer for the exercises. We will that maybe next week, because I'm so busy now with the preparation of the first classes. So, congratulations, nobody snores. Nobody sleeps. Okay, brother. Next week. Prepare your classroom. Prepare your classroom.